this session is basically about introducing and giving you a brief overview of the Duolingo English Test. Most of you are already aware that a lot of institutions are accepting this score in place of the IELTS because candidates are not currently able to take the IELTS. So I will quickly run you through the basics here. First thing, of course, that we need to understand where the test comes from. As the name suggests, Duolingo. So basically, it's a test which is designed by Duolingo. So what is Duolingo? It's a language learning application, basically, right? It's just a language learning application where you can learn a number of languages from your phones. So it started to roll out in 2011 and is currently a big business empire with net worth more than $700 million. And they have more than 300 million users at the moment. As you can see here on the right hand side, the app is available for both Android as well as iOS, and it comes under the freemium category where most of the content is free, but there is also a premium content available, right? So that's all about Duolingo. So these are the people who make the test. Then when it comes to the test itself, it's basically a computer adaptive language proficiency test. When I say computer adaptive, I'm hoping that some of you know about GRE, which is a computer adaptive test as well. So here as well, if the candidates give correct answers, so the next questions are going to change according to that. So if if my friend and me, if we're taking the exam together, we will not have the same questions coming up. The questions are going to be different because it is computer adaptive. So whatever I reply, the next question would be based on the reply that I give. Of course, like the all other language proficiency tests, here four core English language skills are being tested, which are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Another feature of the Duolingo test is that there is no set sequence for the Duolingo test. So you'll not have a listening section in the test or a reading section or a writing section or a speaking section. It's basically a combination of all these skills. So it goes on, question wise and not skill wise in the test. I will also share a few snapshots of the test later on so that it becomes more clear. When we talk about the test, there are some other things that you need to know. So it can be taken from home, which is why this is a go-to test in the current COVID scenario. It can be taken on demand without any prior appointment, which is making it more and more popular. Of course, as I said, it's computer adaptive, so you can see it. The duration here varies from 45 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the English proficiency of the candidate. So if the candidate has a better level of English, maybe he or she will finish in 45 minutes. If the proficiency level is not very high, it might go up to 1 hour. But that's the maximum test duration. The test finishes in 1 hour. There is no test material after that. So 1 hour is the maximum duration. 45 minutes is the minimum. Of course, you have to again know of these two things as well. There are two parts to this test. One is a video interview and the other is the writing sample. So these two parts are not graded. These are ungraded parts and these are sent to the institutions along with the candidate's score. So basically in the video interview, a candidate looks directly at the camera, which is there in his laptop or computer, and talks about a particular topic, like in the IELTS speaking test. So this is about 1 to 3 minutes long, the video interview. So there's no interviewer here. He's not being interviewed. He's just talking about a particular topic. And the writing sample will involve the candidate writing about a given topic for about 3 to 5 minutes. So these are not graded, as I said. They're just sent to the institutions along with the score. Similar to the PTE test, where the introduction of the candidate is sent to the institutions. The cost is just $49, and this is again a factor which makes it more popular. All the other language proficiency tests fall under the 200 plus dollars bracket, and this is where Duolingo is cheap. And of course, the results can be obtained in 48 hours. So basically, in 2 days, candidates can get their results as well. So it's quite fast, and because it's computer adaptive, most of the grading is done through computers here. No human grading is involved anywhere. When we come to the requirements, then the candidates who appear for the test, they need to make sure that they have the following things. So they need to have a computer or a laptop with a functioning microphone, speakers, and a webcam. Again, this webcam needs to be centered here, right here at the center of the computer screen. You cannot have the webcam at the side of the computer or in the corner of the computer screen or anywhere else. On the sides, it's not allowed. You should have it right here at the center of the monitor. It's very, very important. Uh, they must also have the latest versions of either Google Chrome or the Opera browser installed on their PCs. Again, a very important point, the Duolingo language test cannot be taken on the Firefox browser as of now. Firefox being a very popular browser, they don't really support the test as of now. You can take it only through Google Chrome or the Opera browser. And also you need the latest version of the same. So you cannot have an outdated version. Very, very important to note. Uh, Again, on part of the candidates, they need a good internet speed to make sure that the test experience is smooth. So they need a download speed of 2 Mbps and an upload speed of 1 Mbps at their end to make sure that the test experience is smooth. Also, they need their original passport with them because they have to take a picture of this passport at the beginning of the test. They'll have to take their own picture and they'll also have to take the picture of their passport before they can start with the test. So these are the minimum requirements that a candidate needs to abide. The rules, again, there are a certain rules for this test. So again, because it's a test which you can take from home, so you need to follow these rules as a candidate very strictly. There is this very strict rule that no headphones are permitted. Even though there is a listening section on this test, you cannot wear a headphone or an earpiece for this test. It's very, very important to leave them away. Candidates cannot use a pen, so note taking is not allowed. Uh, you know already there are two tests, PTE and TOEFL, where candidates can take notes. But this is a test where note taking is strictly prohibited, and candidates cannot use a pen or a pencil or any other writing device. The ears of the candidates must be visible throughout the test duration, and that is why no headphones are allowed. So again, especially for the women candidates who have long hair, they'll have to take care that their ears are visible throughout the test. They have to look straight at their computers. They cannot look here and there, and that is basically the next rule as well. Candidates are not allowed to look away from the computer screen or to talk to anyone during the test. They will have to sit in a room where there is well lit room, so the light is very clear, and they have to constantly look at the computer. And well, the time duration of the test is such that they'll not really find time to look away from the computer as well, but they have to make sure that they're not looking anywhere else and they're not talking to anyone, of course. Again, very, very important, all the add-ons for the browser must be disabled. There are add-ons like Grammarly, which can be used with Google Chrome. The test prohibits the use of any such add-ons, and so this is another very important condition that the candidates need to follow. Also, candidates cannot leave the test window during the test. So the test starts in a new tab of the browser. The candidates cannot leave that tab during the entire test duration. So if it's a 1 hour test, the candidates have to stay on the same tab for the entire 1 hour. So these were a few basic rules that the candidates need. Talking about the snippets, then this is the dashboard. So if you go to the website, which I will share in a bit, this is all that the candidate gets once he or she logs in. So this is where they can take a practice test. You can see the practice test lasts only for 15 minutes, and it is clearly stated that the candidates can practice as much as they want. But by clicking on this, they can start the test, but because it's just 15 minutes long, it will not contain all the questions that are covered on the actual test. And so we thought of sharing a few snippets of the actual questions from here itself. So this is a practice test. Once the candidates feel that they're comfortable enough with the interface with the questions, they can purchase their test from the website itself. The test costs $49, as you can see here. And once they purchase the test, this start test option will be activated. And then once they're prepared and they have 1 hour of free time, they can start their test by clicking on this button once it's activated after they purchase the test. So here are a few questions then. The first one is type the missing letters. So as you can see, this is a snippet of the candidate who's sitting in front of the computer, and this is the time remaining in the test. So this question type usually will give the candidates about 1.5 to 2 minutes, depending on the length. And as you can see, there are a few words where letters are missing. So candidates just need to type these letters here in the blank spaces. This is the first question type. The next question type is where the candidates are given with a list of words, and they have to click on the words which are really English words which exist in the English language. So I would definitely click on something like answered and watch, but I will not really click on this word, which looks like 9 or 19, but it's not really a word. So this is what they need to do. Again, they get about 2 minutes of the time to solve a question like this. The next question type is very similar to the previous one, but here they need to click and listen to the same word. They'll listen to some English words, and they need to click on the words that they feel are real English words. So it's the same version of the previous question, but here listening skill is involved. As I've mentioned previously, there's no sequence of questions, so this is just a sample. These questions can come in any sequence in the actual test. Again, for this question, they get about 2 minutes of the time of thinking time. Next question type is record yourselves saying the statement. So they're given with a sentence and they have to record themselves saying it. So it's very easy. Just read the sentence, record yourselves, and click on next once it's done. The next thing is describe the image below. So candidates see an image here and they need to describe the image, record themselves, give a description of this image, and click on next once they're done. Next question type is where they hear a sentence. So this is a listening and writing question. So they need to hear a sentence. They can hear it for a maximum of 3 times. And then they need to type that sentence exactly the way they heard it, along with correct grammar and punctuation. And again, of course, this is where they also need to describe image in one or more sentences. Maximum time that they'll have for this particular question is about 20 to 30 seconds, maximum 50 seconds. So they'll not have the chance to write more than 2 sentences here. So they just quickly need to respond to this image in writing. This is another question where they have to write at least 50 words about the given question. So they'll be given a question and they'll have to write 50 words. Once the word counter reaches 50, they can click on next. But it is advised that they should write as much as possible during the given time. And of course, this is how the result is shown once the result is out. So name of the candidate, last name, first name, the picture, test date, and the score. And this is the score description. Right. So it's said that this candidate can understand a variety of demanding written and spoken language, including some specialized language use situations. That means it is a good score, and that is what I need to share with you as well. So when it comes to scoring, the scores are within this range of 10 to 160. Higher the score, higher is the proficiency level of the candidate. So candidates need to aim for as close as 160 if they want to get to good institutions. Again, when it comes to universities, they'll generally accept a score of 120 plus generally, but then there can be requirements that vary according to the score and entry level. Sorry, according to the course and entry level, but 120 plus is generally acceptable. I will also show you the comparisons here. This is a score comparison with the IELTS. So if a candidate scores about 7 or 7.5 bands in the IELTS, that is where a candidate is scoring in the range of 115 to 130 in the Duolingo English test. Right. So as I said, 120 is what the universities is looking at. So 120 plus would be 7 to 7.5 in the IELTS. And if I compare the same with TOEFL, you can see it's close to 97 to 102. So the mean might come to around 100. So 120 in Duolingo is close to 100 in TOEFL. So that's what the universities are looking for. When it comes to a few questions, candidates often come up with some questions here, and so I would like to share them here. So first, of course, what is the URL? What is the website of this test? So this is the website, englishtest.duolingo.com. This is the website where you can visit and register yourselves. This is the same website where you can take the practice test, and also the same website where you can purchase your test and also appear for the same. So this is the only website that the candidates need to know. Next, then, can I take a practice test? As you've already seen, you can take a practice test by registering on this website, and you can take the test any number of times. So there's no limit on the number of attempts that you get for this practice test. Um, when can I take the test? After creating an account. So after creating an account, there's no barrier here. But once you purchase your test, you have to appear for the test within 90 days after purchasing it, not after creating an account, but after purchasing your test, you have to appear within 90 days. So this is important to know. Few more questions. How long are the scores valid? So like all the other language proficiency tests, these scores are also valid for 2 years. 2 years from the declaration of the results. So basically, this is very similar to IELTS and PTE as well as TOEFL, where scores stay valid for 2 years duration. Can I get a PDF version of my score? Currently, it's not possible. It's not possible to get a PDF scorecard. Currently, you can access your score only by logging into your account in the website that I've just shared. So candidates, if they come with a PDF scorecard, it's probably fake. They don't provide a PDF scorecard as yet. The Duolingo test has a scorecard only in their own websites. Also, how much do I need to pay for reporting my scores? As you may know, for TOEFL and IELTS, initially score reporting is free, but then the candidates have to pay if they want to report their scores to more universities. This is again where Duolingo has a clear advantage. Score reporting is absolutely free, and a candidate can send his scores to any number of institutes. So the candidates get a list of institutes that are registered and are accepting the Duolingo test, and the candidate can send his scores to all those institutes if he wishes to, and it's for free. So there's no extra charge to send scores to any number of institutions. So this is again a very important point that you should have in mind.